Am I live? Let's see. I don't know. I don't know how this works.
It should come right up on the side over here live.
I think you have to like
It's
join
in
it,
red.
don't you?
Yeah, live now.
Am I live?
It's not
Let's
on my
see.
screen. Hang on.
Now live on your channel.
There we go.
Yes, you're on.
Woo! So you guys,
You
did
look
you have to like
good.
join it or? I don't know. This is all technology. Between the three of us. Hey guys, Carol and
it's delayed.
Stan.
It's delayed.
It's
That's
delayed.
why.
Like how? Just a few minutes, so people will see
yeah.
that part then, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's funny. So I can't look at yours because it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Ooh. Does that
There's
show
some
12
people
people
on.
on there? Like who? Can you guys tell?
Michelle
So if you are here.
Flores, you are live.
All right, so if anyone's just logged on, this is my first live Q&A, and I'm kind of freaking out, and I'm not even shy. And I'm with Stan and Carol, and it's not quite 3 o'clock.
Hello.
The three amigos or whatever. We're trying to come up with a good name for us. And I have to make sure I don't look over at your screens because it's on a delay, and it's going to confuse me. So Stan and Carol are going to be looking at all the questions, and then I can answer them. So I'm not trying to do.
So we have
5 things at
Michelle
once.
on. We
Michelle.
have Andrew. We have John.
Oh, here we go.
Hinman, Lisa.
John Hinman and Lisa who?
Michelle again.
Michelle, Brenda.
From New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand? What time is
Yes.
it there? Can you tell me, Brenda? What
Yes,
time
hi,
is it?
John. It's Stan the Man. Yes.
Yeah, Stan the Man and Carol, who doesn't have a trail name yet, but we're working on it. Yeah, what time is it in New Zealand?
Moose liver.
Moose liver, hello. And then I just want to make sure it's actually so.
Tabitha.
Oh, Tabby,
Tina.
my girl, is Isaiah with
Isaiah,
you?
yep, Isaiah.
Yay,
Hi, I'm here.
Isaiah, awesomeness. That's cool. So while we're just saying hi and waiting till exactly 3 o'clock, if you want to ask questions in the comments below, Stan and Carol will be feeding them to me. And
Patty Burke.
Patty Burke.
Okay.
And it's
Yay.
8 a.m. on Monday morning.
Wow. Do you have to
For
go to
Brenda
work?
Swaddling, yes.
So if you have a question before you have to go to work, just put it in the comments, anybody, and that will be awesome.
She said somewhere it's Labor Day there. So
Labor
Jula
Day.
65.
Okay.
Hi from Canada.
Hello. Eh? All right. Never heard that one before, right?
Rocket Nomad. Whoop,
Sky!
hello.
All right. Is it 3 o'clock? What time is it?
It's 3:01.
It's 3:01.
Let's
Oh my
go.
gosh. All right.
Penny Meller from Hyde from PA.
Hello, hello, hello. All right. So Stan and Carol, Stan the Man and Carol, Stan, say hello.
Hello.
They're going to be reading your questions down below and then kind of feeding them to me. But some people sent me questions in advance. So I'm going to start answering those so I can get right at it. Okay. So Rocket Nomad, Sky, my girl, asked me what was the most surprising thing I learned about myself. One, that I am actually capable of being patient. So anyone who knew me before I hiked knows that I have not a lot of patience with myself and with the little nitpicky things of life, but I think I've become much more patient with myself. And that I'm capable of that was shocking to me, and that I'm stronger and more capable than I ever thought. I was somebody who came into hiking as a complete novice, not even believing that I could climb one mountain. Like truly, like I was in tears last year, probably every day, but really soon into the hike, and like, I can't do this. I'm an imposter. I don't belong here. This trail is for other people who are younger, stronger, who've been working out and exercising and, all their life. And that wasn't me. And I may not have reached Maine yet, but holy heck, I've done a lot of miles on the Appalachian Trail, one of the toughest trails in the United States. And I'm really proud of myself, and I am much more capable than I thought physically. I've never really doubted this, but yeah, that surprised me, and it is empowering me to go forward and hike more and do more things. Okay. John Hindman had asked me previously, would I consider a flip-flop? Yes. I don't want to. It kind of feels to me like rubbing a cat the wrong way. Like to me and a lot of through hikers, I have it in my head that you go north to south or south to north. You start at one end and you go straight through to the other. A flip-flop is absolutely a legitimate, honorable way to through hike any trail. And I am considering it. I have at least, 15 months or so before I would attempt it again. So I have time to settle into myself and how I want my hike to go in the future. I want to do all the miles, not just start where I left off. And a flip flop, just it's on the list, but I don't want to. I want to go in one direction or the other. So I'd consider it. Jimmy Johnstone had asked me, will I be working on my endurance, like regarding daily miles? Absolutely. And this is something I'm really excited about. I have found a personal trainer that I haven't started working with, but I think 2 more weeks and we'll get started. And he has agreed to be filmed and to share his advice with you. He's really going to be working with me as an older person and my unique aches and pains and stuff that will help me specifically with hiking, long distance hiking and carrying the weight and all, arthritis and all that crap. So, and nutrition and all that. So that will enable me to do more miles per day. That is one of the biggest things that stopped me from getting to Maine 2 years in a row. I just don't have it in me. So I've talked in depth with this because he's like 28 years old and he's going to be showing me how it goes. But we feel that I bonk at around 4 o'clock in the afternoon and about 12 miles into a hike on any given day, whether it's easy terrain or hard terrain. And so we're going to be digging in on nutrition and making sure I'm getting enough protein and things like that. So yes, I will definitely be working on that, so I have the endurance and have what it takes to do more miles.
So I have a related question.
Okay.
George wants to know if you think it's possible to eat healthy while on a thru hike.
No.
Good question.
It's possible if one my opinion, if one has unlimited funds, because eating healthy, I think the only way to do that, and I'm going to try with Carol's help, just, she's plant-based, and we're going to do a whole video on this, really on nutrition. I noticed a difference. I was staying with Carol for about 6 weeks here on Staten Island. We're on Staten Island right now. And when I am at her house eating plant-based diet, I feel so much better. And just 2 weeks ago, I moved up into Manhattan, and I won't go into details of how I've been a little sluggish, not eating as well. So to carry that out on the trail, to eat and get enough protein, legumes and beans and vegetables and all that, you need to dehydrate. And I think I will have to really start months and months in advance and dehydrate as much food as I can and ship it to myself up ahead, or have somebody, have
and
a
you're
friend.
Gonna have to show me how to do that.
Yeah, and so to have resupply boxes waiting, because without doing that, you're stuck with resupplying at, Walmart or gas stations or, all these random little markets, and you're stuck with processed food. And a lot of hikers, and I can't judge because many of them made it till the end, all right, on Pop-Tarts and, all this just processed high calorie foods. But I'm bonking out at 12, 14 miles a day, and I'll never get to Maine. So I need to change that, and I'm going to have to make an investment on myself and on my hike to send myself healthy, nutritious meals in advance, and mail. It's the postage that will cost, not so much the food, because I'll be eating the healthy food anyway. And dehydrating it, I have a dehydrator. It's mailing it ahead, or reaching out to viewers to, maybe pitch in for postage or something like that. But if you're looking to hike and eating healthy, you're probably going to have to mail it ahead. All right, what other questions?
Okay, Lisa wants to know, what food did you have to eat on the trail that you never want to eat again?
Bars, Cliff Bars, protein bars. And I will eat them, but those are my least favorite things. No matter how tasty they are, I'm not sick of tuna fish, and I ate that for lunch pretty much every single day. I'd hate to test my iodine. Oh, is it mercury? What's in fish that's probably not so healthy? Yeah. But still not sick of tuna. But those protein bars, I'm done with. What else?
Did you treat your gear for ticks?
For ticks, yes. I used, was it permethrin? The spray, blanking out. Somebody comment, is it permethrin? Permethrin that I sprayed on my gear. Not when I left, because I left in mid-February and I wasn't too concerned about bugs, but I did spray my sneakers, and at the beginning I wore gaiters, my outside clothing, not my undergarments, not my sleeping, quilt or anything like that. But am lucky. I must either stink really bad or really good. I don't have what some people have, like poor Lolly and Carol. They get bit by mosquitoes and, you know, and ticks. People get ticks. And I found one on my thumb once last year that I flicked off. And, you know, I'm not generally bothered except those damn worms. But yes, I did treat for ticks. What else?
Well, Brenda from New Zealand
Hi, Brenda from New Zealand.
says that they don't have any snakes on their trails. Are snakes a problem on the 18th?
They're not a problem. It's their home. We're the problem. I'm in their
There you
house,
go.
right? I'm in their house. I've seen many. There's mostly the snakes I see. There's like garter snakes, which are innocent. You need to know if you're going out on any trail. You need to know what snakes are there and how to identify them. You need to know what a copperhead looks like and rattlesnakes. They don't all rattle. Look it up. But you need to be able to identify the ones of most concern. And I would see mostly garter snakes and those big black long ones that are creepy, and they can be like 5 feet
Yeah,
long,
the
and they're
rat
like
snakes.
rat snakes. Is that what? Oh my gosh.
Rat snakes, yeah.
So those aren't a concern, and I actually would stop and film them because they were kind of cool. But last year, I poked a rattlesnake with my trekking pole by mistake. I don't intentionally go out poking snakes, but I was trekking and he was in the grassy area to my left, and I poked him and he didn't like that. So of course I jumped. Another one I almost stepped on and he coiled and rattled. So I learned I'm really not afraid of rattlesnakes so much. I'm cautious, but they warn you. Copperheads, I've only seen one and he was coiled up under a rock. So I took a picture and kept moving. But I still get nervous anytime I need to put my hands, like if there's rocks and crevices, I don't want to put my hand in there. Like Lehigh Gap, although we didn't see any, did we? When we did Lehigh Gap. But yeah, I don't have a phobia, luckily, but I just keep my eyes open. What else?
Speaking of Lehigh Gap,
Oh,
well, or just
Okay.
hard rock climbs, Lori Jorgensen wants to know,
yeah.
did you do any strength training for hard rock climbs?
No. No. They're not as difficult as I thought. I get things blown out of proportion. You know, this is going to be too hard for me because, again, imposter syndrome. And as soon as I get there, I love the rock climbs. I just do. I think the hardest ones would be in New Hampshire, and I didn't get there. So the White Mountains remain to be seen. But no, I didn't do any particular strength training, and I did it with ease and didn't have any problems. What else?
Here's a couple more.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you have Prune from saying hi from New Zealand. Another
New Zealander.
Wow.
I guess I need to go on vacation and visit y'all.
Yeah.
Right? What's the question?
Teresa Bunn says, how much time per day did you spend making the videos? You know, I've asked this to other people. And although I loved every minute of them, do you think it slowed your potential progress?
No. Well, last year, yes. I did a lot more. I have a lot more photos and videos last year, and my videos were longer. I mean, I sometimes had 40 minutes, you know, I didn't post 40 minutes of it, but I did a lot more. This time around, I really tried to keep the videos shorter, even though some got out of hand, but I tried to keep them around the 10-minute mark. At the end of every day, on average, I had about 30 minutes of photos and videos for any given hiking day. And if you look at it, that the day is 24 hours, I'm sleeping for probably 10 or in my tent. So about 10 hours a day actually walking. And I come out with 30 minutes of video. So it's really not all that much, and most of them I'm walking while I'm shooting. So it really didn't hold me back, the actual recording. Then I would edit out 20 minutes of that as much as I could. Each video, I mean, I would edit it in my tent, so it wasn't slowing me down. I'm in my tent anyway, just lying there. And that was how I kind of rested. Instead of watching videos or listening to podcasts, I would just sit and edit, and it was fine with me. And then I would do the final edits and upload. That was the annoying part. I would guess that each video that you see, like a 10, 12-minute video, takes me about an hour to edit and put together and add music and all that. And depending on where I am in a hostel or, you know, in town, to upload could take 10 minutes or 6 hours, you know, depending on the Wi-Fi strength. But I'm personally hands-on editing and working on about an hour and about a half hour a day filming. I don't know if that answered the question. I ramble. Have you noticed? Any others?
So this is here's another
Oh, okay.
related. JLDR.com.
Oh,
Sorry if I mispronounced that.
Yeah, John, I think.
John, okay.
Yeah, okay.
He wants to know, did you create your video lead-in with you laughing?
Yes. So that laugh was not related to hiking. My darling daughter was having a really bad day about 2 years ago. Really bad day. She was at an airport. I was home. She was at an airport having a series of unfortunate events and mishaps. Her phone was on fire and her luggage was overweight. And so she had 6 sweaters and 3 pairs of pants, just trying to get everything out of the suitcase so she could check it. And she was texting me her blow by blow, melodrama from the airport, and I put on to videotape some compassion, like to be like, oh honey, it's gonna be okay, she was coming home for Christmas and I can't wait to see you. And I just started laughing, so much for empathy. I just started laughing at her, and it was caught on video, and so I just put that over my hiking thing and made the intro. So yeah, it is me laughing though.
Okay. So a couple of fear questions.
Fear.
Renee Faith wants to know,
Lodge of Legends. Renee, yes.
how did you overcome the fear of sleeping alone the first time on the trail? And related to that, Deb wants to know, how did you overcome fears about hitchhiking into town alone?
Okay. I did hitchhike alone. So the hitchhiking, usually I was with a group of people. And so that didn't matter, but I hitchhiked twice, and both times it was a single male in a pickup truck with a dog. So go figure, like the bad movie scenario. I'm really not over that fear. I wouldn't call it fear, but it's unease. And as much as possible, and actually both of those times were last year. So I did choose to avoid hitchhiking by myself this year. I did. I was always with a group of people. So I didn't overcome that fear. I just chose not to be alone for that. And the other was sleeping alone in the woods for the first time. That was last year too. This year was so much better. I used the word fear in my videos last year when I remember where I was the first time I was at a shelter. I was like, I hope other people show up. I'm scared. But I really thought about it, and it wasn't fear. It wasn't being afraid. It was more a new experience, feeling uncomfortable, but not fear. To me, there's a big difference. And it was mostly, what if a bear came and I can't scare him off? I want somebody else there. It could be an inept child, as long as somebody else is there, like comfort in numbers. I don't know. I just remember feeling uncomfortable, being forced to spend the night. I mean, I didn't have a choice. I wasn't going to hike alone at night with my eyes. So I just got through it, woke up alive, and then embraced it. I actually enjoy being alone now. I actually really do. I think it's really comforting. I just feel at peace, and I just threw me into the deep end and had to do it, so it wasn't something I purposely did or had any strategy. What else?
So Randy from Randy Adventures says hello.
Hi, Randy.
I'm subscribed to Randy.
Oh, Santa's subscribed. I think I should be too.
Yeah.
I'll double check. Randy, put your link down there, because wasn't Randy on, what was the couple we were watching?
I forget, but hi
anyway.
Randy, I'm subscribed.
Yeah, I'll subscribe to. Put your link. But anyway, is that a male or a female? Wait, Randy?
No, female.
Okay, so put your link. What's the question?
Okay, no, she just said that
She just says hi, yeah.
Oh, hi.
She enjoyed you, were very inspiring. Dr. Love.
Yes,
says,
hello. That's another Randy.
Have you ever considered trying a Sobo instead of the traditional Nobo route piece?
Yes, again, rubbing the cat the wrong way, but I have considered it. What causes me to hesitate is I'd be starting with the hardest part first, and that's a lot of strength, and that's, but on the plus side, you'd get that over with. So yes, I've considered it, but I just have it in my head, like so many, I want to go north to south, but it's not out of the question. Not at all. Not at all.
Chris Avery wants to know if you've considered hiking with a small group of people, like 2 to 5 people.
Absolutely, and I would love that. The problem is to start out alone, because Carol and I have talked about it, and Stan and I have talked about it. Let's all hike together. But it's unusual to find people who start alone. You could have the best friend or your brother or sister or your spouse. Do you get along? Okay, one, but you're with each other 24/7, and do you hike at the same pace? What happens if one gets injured? and needs to take a week off or go home, is, the other person going to leave too or stay behind? Or what if, one's faster, one's slower, one wants to do 15 miles and the other, doesn't. So I think it's hard when people start together. It happens. Look at the Wonder Women. They started and ended together, and I wish I was with them. They would that would have been so fun. I just think it's difficult. I can't imagine finding a group. I love you both, but I mean, Stan, you walk like 100 miles an hour. Carol, you and I are more at the same pace, but I just don't know how that would work. But I would love the company, and I would love that trail family that just does it and accomplishes it together. That would be amazing. But I don't know. What else?
Fun.
Pop and Lolly are on here.
Lolly and Pop!
They
Trail family-ish, right? Yeah.
They want to know, what did you like and not like about your pack, and would you change it out the next time?
It is one of the few things that I'll change. I'm pretty happy with what I had this time around. I will get a new pack, partly, honestly, mostly just to save weight, because there are packs out there that are lighter than mine right now. I think mine's 2.5 pounds. It's the Osprey Asia. What I love about that pack are the side pockets that I can put a bottle of water in either side, and the pocket is angled, so I can just reach down and take it out. I don't have to worry about clipping it and anything like that. And most of the pockets on backpacks are not like that. So I really like that feature, but I need something lighter. But I loved my pack. I have no problem with it except the smell right now. So, and hi, Lolly and Pop.
And Prune wants to know if there's any piece of gear that you regret buying at all. And are there others that you would have chosen a different brand or type?
Last year, the sleeping pad I bought from eBay, a reconditioned, refurbished, it was a oh gosh, Climate Static V, and it was, I'll say reconditioned, but from the company, that somebody had returned it and they made sure it was good, whatever, but it popped on night 2 or 3, and it was one of the coldest nights out on the trail, and it leaked, and I was flat on the ground and in really bad pain because my hips and spine were frozen. I wouldn't buy something reconditioned again. Other than that, no, I may have changed my mind, but there's no regrets. I never had a truly bad experience with any piece of gear. Anything else?
There's a question here for Carol and myself.
Ooh, the camera.
There's 2 of them together.
Yeah,
Let's see, how do you put up with try?
Yeah. Have Stan and Carol through hiked? The answer to that is no.
And then there's another one, will we through hike in the future?
Yes, I am planning a through hike in 2022 when I retire. Probably starting in March, going Nobo, and I will be vlogging.
He's trying to convince me to wait and go with him.
Yes, I am. I'm absolutely trying to do that. And then I have done 5 states. I've done New York, New Jersey, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Maryland. I've done those 5 states. I've piecemealed them all the way through. I haven't done them all in one shot, but piecemealed them. So
yeah.
And Carol?
And I've done bits and pieces here and there. I do want to through hike. I don't have a start year in mind yet. Part of it is getting, family things sorted out, and part of it is my job. I just have to figure out when it's going to work. But yes, it's definitely a plan for the future.
Yay!
yay!
All right. Any more waiting?
Dr. Love says, I'll see you March 6, 2020 at Amalacoa.
At the ATKO event, is that where you'll be? And you're starting from there? Tell me down below or shoot me a message. A lot of hikers, I think that is the biggest, where the bubble starts, at the Appalachian Trail Kickoff event at Amicalola Falls. It's the first weekend in March every year at Amicalola, and the majority of people start then. So if you don't mind camping with 150 people at any given shelter for the first several weeks till they start dropping out, that's the weekend to start. So if that's when you're starting, Dr. Love, it would be really cool if I can arrange to be down there just to celebrate, and with no pressure of starting a through hike, to be with you all and support you. That will be fun. So maybe I'll see you there.
Well,
Yeah.
this is kind of cool.
What?
Pam Danko says,
Pam.
She's planning a through hike in 2022 as well.
Good.
So hi Pam, maybe I will
Yeah.
see you on the
We'll
trail.
meet you.
And John Hinman, Stan, count me in. That's my retirement date also. So I'm assuming.
Well, maybe there's my
John is
party of
saying,
5.
yeah,
You know, you never know.
John is saying that he is going to through hike
Yeah, cool.
too. So yeah, that would be great
Mhm.
to meet everybody.
Mhm. That would be fun. Any others pending?
Well, Hiking to Change says you're such an inspiration.
Thank you.
Watched your journey, cried with you, as well as celebrated with you.
Oh, you cried a lot and celebrated a lot. Thank you, Hiking for Change. All right. Any others waiting there? I've got,
No,
no?
don't see
I
any.
think we're
All
caught
right.
up.
So I've got so let's see, Jimmy Johnstone, will you be working on your endurance goals? Yes, so I'm working with a personal trainer, and that will be shared on these vlogs, and you'll see me working out. I don't know if I'll do a before and after picture. That's a little too much information maybe. Cabin Fever had asked previously, how do you deal with inevitable aches and pains? So one planning going forward is that personal trainer to strengthen my weak spots. But stretching, once I started truly dedicating morning, mid-hike, and evening, never a day went by when I didn't stretch at least 3 times a day. And, you know, my hamstrings and just, you know, various body parts. And ibuprofen and acetaminophen. I didn't take it every day, the bulk in the first few months. And I think that's true for a lot of people, because that's when you're gonna get the aches and pains, is at the beginning. You're just, you know, your body's going, what on earth are you doing? So there was a lot of vitamin I, ibuprofen. But I learned if I also added just a little bit of acetaminophen, you know, between the anti-inflammatory and the pain relief, that helped a lot. And it was accidental, but my young friend Eldorado, we shared Noro together. He handed me, I'm not a big drinker, I joke about it a lot, but he handed me a nip of whiskey, a Fireball, one night. And I was like, oh, I don't know. But that took away some aches and pains, and I slept really well that night. So I'm not advocating drinking, but a little nip, you know, didn't hurt. And then Heather Dorval had asked me, what is your thought process as you plan your trail goals for the day? So I look at the weather, knowing if it's pouring rain or snowing, or if I was facing potential ice like in the Smokies this year. It was not going to be a big mile day, because I'm going to be very cautious and tentative. If there's going to be a lot of elevation, or if I was in Maryland and just pretty flat. So that would be in a consideration. You know, am I going to be overexerting myself? I look at my own energy level. There were some days like I had allergies or something for a couple weeks this spring, which I never had spring allergies, but there's different stuff out there. So I woke up feeling really yucky for a week or two and kind of paced myself accordingly, because I just had no energy. And then I take into consideration, am I nursing, you know, did I turn my ankle the day before and I was limping for a couple days, or, you know, or was I feeling like $1,000,000? So that's what I looked at, all of those factors, and determined whether I thought I had 15 miles in me or if it was going to be a short day. Also, am I due for a resupply? You know, at night, sometimes I would look and say,
Shut mine down.
Oh,
okay.
we have the same computer.
Yeah, we do. That's right.
And worst case, yeah, because I can't read the comments. Well, oh
Yeah,
no.
It will come back. There we go. It's back.
I'm coming
You're
back.
Yeah.
Am I
You're
back? Okay, what was I saying?
Sorry about that, folks.
Yeah, sorry, we're eating up Stan's Wi-Fi. So I would look at, okay, I'm going to be in a town tomorrow, and I want a 0 day, for example, and I don't want to pay, not that I'm cheap, but I was on a budget like most people. So I would plan to get as close to the trailhead. So I would plan my miles, so I would end close to a trailhead. So in the morning, I would only have like a mile or 2 to get into town, and it would be close to a 0, like a Nero. So sometimes I'd plan my miles that way. How are you using your AT guide in your day-to-day hikes? So the AWOL guide I used in my tent, you know, at night or in the morning, and I would mark my miles and put notes of what I was going to do and where I would stay, phone numbers to shuttle drivers, stuff like that. And at night I would write that what I did, you know, that I met a certain hiker or had some fun. It kind of put a few sentences. But while I was actually hiking, I used gut hooks, and I don't know how people did it before without that, you know, so I would just check my mileage and all on gut hooks, and look at comments from other hikers for where water sources are and things. So that helped me. And then also Heather asked, 2 low miles. Oh, what was my backup plan for the day as things really go as planned? I always planned 2 end goals. I would say, okay, I really want to get to point, Z today, and that's 15 miles. And that would be a shelter or whatever. But then I would back up and say, okay, but if I run out of steam or something happens, there's a shelter at 10 miles or there's a campsite at 10 miles. And that would be, I'd get to that one and then evaluate, okay, can I go on? So I always had those 2 stopping points. I'd stop at 1, reevaluate, and then go to the second if I needed to. Any others there?
Well, I got a related one
Okay.
to that almost.
Okay.
It says, were you nervous when you slack packed that you wouldn't make it to the next stop where you picked up your gear?
Not till that happened. Well, it didn't actually happen, but it was very close. And I did learn a lesson. And tonight or tomorrow, I'm going to rewatch this video. So I'll remind myself to find the video I did and link it down below for you. But it was the day I got back on trail after having noro. I was a little premature in getting back on trail, and I still had a fever and all that stuff. And I slack packed and was dropped. I'm trying to remember it as I'm speaking. I was dropped at a trailhead, and I was going to go hike past another gap and go to the second one to get to a hostel. And when I got to that second gap, I was what I couldn't. It was bad. I just couldn't move, and I had no cell service. And it would have been a disaster had somebody, a random woman, not shown up to drop off a hiker. And I just went over and I'm like, please, will you bring me to the hostel? I'm sick. But I would have been in a bad place had somebody not come along because it wasn't a real populated road. So I learned then that even if I'm slack packing, to have basic things. I would always pack my quilt and my headlamp, so that was a scary moment. What else?
Do that one?
Yeah, this is kind of addressed to the 3 of us.
Ooh.
Out of the sections that you 3 have hiked this far, what has been your favorite section? For me, I like this section really well around the Mohican Outdoor Center
Okay.
in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I really like that section. It's got some nice, just little ridge walks,
Mhm.
and then up to the fire tower.
Yeah.
I've camped up there on 4th of July.
Mhm.
Really like it up there. I just think it's a really nice section. But I kind of see New York and New Jersey almost as one because that's my area.
It's your turf.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my turf.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite area
Okay.
of this area that I've hiked.
And Carol?
Well, I definitely like New York. I do a lot of hiking there, and I like the views, and I like some of the challenges. I've also done a lot of hiking in Vermont, but northern Vermont, which I think is more like the Whites.
Okay.
So although I haven't hiked the Whites, I like that kind of terrain, and I'm looking forward to doing
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Mhm.
because I've done similar things in the
Yeah.
next state over. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Carol reminds me of me because when you said that, if you said it on a video, so I'm not speaking out of turn, but she has a fear of heights. And she's like, but I'm going anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm like, she's my sister. Because Kim, aren't you afraid? Yeah. Then why are you doing it? Because I'm afraid.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah, exactly. And then as far as my favorite sections, in typical try style, I don't have one. Like the first few 100 miles are my favorite because it's new and it's exciting and you're getting, what am I getting into? And there's just all this newness and you're surrounded by hikers who are like, what am I doing? So that's my favorite because it's new. But my favorite was around McAfee Knob in Virginia because the views are epic.
Right.
But my favorite was around Maryland and the Mason-Dixon line because it was
For
easy
different
terrain, but I love the whole Civil War, the history, it's breathing, you can feel it. But then my favorite was, my
Goes
favorite
on and
section is the section that I was in yesterday. Not necessarily where I am at the moment. I just love it all, even
Well,
though it doesn't seem.
how about this question?
What?
Okay.
You're going to do George Foley? He's got a loaded question.
Yeah,
George,
yeah.
I
Carolyn-
hope he's being nice.
Carol and I are running out or are keeping our ears closed or something, okay?
Okay.
It says, who was your favorite hiking partner the past 2 years?
Oh,
my
that,
gosh.
you trying to get me in trouble. You know what? Meet me in the city. We have to go out for another beer. My favorite hiking partner,
This is
obviously
funny.
these two. Obviously. Want to get me in trouble. But long-term hiking partner, how's that? Honestly, between Diamond Blue last year and Poppin' Lolly and Peabody, I mean,
Yeah.
we had so much fun. Lolly, just is just my treasure, and we would just giggle our way. Every morning, you know, she would say, "I'm not going to complain," and then within 10 minutes, we're both complaining. Just Peabody, Pop, and Lolly and I just had so much fun. And Diamond Blue last year for a couple weeks, that was around the Mason-Dixon line, and his humor was so dry, and I'm such a nut that we just worked off of each other. But obviously, these two are my most
Yay.
favorite. George, you're in trouble.
I love you, George.
All right. Any others there?
Yeah,
Pending?
there are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Prune would like to
Hey,
know,
Prune.
have you ever felt unsafe on the trail because you were a woman? Like creepy places, towns, dogs, people?
No.
She says her dad is freaking out at the idea
No.
of her being alone in the woods.
No, the opposite. I feel safer out in the woods than I do here in New York City, or in Nashville, you know, in town. Even riding on the subways and on the buses, or going to work with all the, you know, the catcalls of the construction workers. And I don't feel, the opposite is true, because the trail community, and that is my absolute favorite thing about the trail, are the people, and we have each other's back, Prune. We have each other's back. The word spreads quickly. So let's say, I don't know you, but, you know, we met at a shelter. You know, it's Tuesday night, we meet at a shelter. We're like, hey, I'm Try, and I'm Prune, or whatever. How'd you get your name? Prune. And some creepy guy came in and started being a little weird, which, you know, a couple times it'd be somebody a little off color, but nothing threatening. That word spreads quickly, because the first man that comes in and we just look at him and say, he's just annoying, they're on him. And the word spreads up, so the next hostel is going to know about this guy and not let them in, or, you know what I mean? Like, the word spreads up the trail, and everybody has everybody's back. That's been my experience. You know, there's some guy down at the last shelter, so let's all stay here tonight together. You know, I'm not afraid. I am not afraid at all. Honest.
Stan the man has a question.
Stan the man has a question.
Did you ever meet a creepy woman on the trail? So I there's creepy men out on the trail.
There's this woman named Try. No. And I honestly, the creepy men were not creepy. Like, I never felt threatened. They were just arrogant, or what is that called? Mansplaining or something, you know? Or there was one guy who admitted he was taking mushrooms. It was in Virginia. What was the name of the shelter? Matt's Creek Shelter, I think, right before Glasgow, Virginia. And what I said a few minutes ago about stopping at a shelter overnight and then going into town the next day, that's what I was going to do. So I was tired. I got to Matt's Creek Shelter, and I put my stuff on the picnic table, and there was one guy in the shelter, and he just didn't look right. And I was like, And as he started talking and I was filtering my water, he was admitting that he found some really cool mushrooms in the woods, and would I like some? And I lied and said, oh, you know, no, not today. I just stopped for water. I'm moving on. And I ended up walking to town, which was annoying, but only because I don't really want to be hanging out with somebody who's on whatever he's on.
Which is a perfect segue into John Hinman's question. Are you happy with your water filter?
I love my Catadine Be Free. Absolutely. It's the first one I bought, and I mean, there would have to be something really, really incredible for me to change. The simplicity of it, the fast flow of it, the ease of cleaning it and carrying it. Love it. Absolutely recommend it.
Plum in French.
Yeah.
What is it?
Prune means plum in French.
Ah, plum. Yes.
Mountain Wanderer says, approximately how long did it take you to get packed up and out of camp each morning? And did you have a set time you wanted to be out of camp, or was it more whatever happens kind of thing?
Yes. Going back to the first question, I think was from Rocket Nomad, of what was the most surprising thing I learned. And another answer to that was that I actually am a morning person. Those of you who are with me at camp in the morning would wonder why I'm saying that, because I'm not a morning person where I'm up and out and ready to go. but I'm up and I'm awake and I'm out of my tent and I'm sitting with my coffee and I'm listening to the birds, and I love everybody to leave, and then it's just me communing with nature and taking my sweet time. That is my favorite part of the trail. It's what I remember the most when I think about hiking, besides the people, is my mornings. But 9 o'clock would be the latest. That was really like, I need to be on the trail. I always aimed for 7:30 or 8 and rarely made it unless I was with others who were like, come on, try, we gotta go. If we were trying to catch a shuttle or something, I'd be out at 7:30, but that was rare. And partly because I knew and I learned when I would push and leave camp at 7 in the morning, I still only had 15 miles in me max. If I left at 9, I still only have 15 miles in me, and I'd get to camp, earlier or later, but I got the same miles in. So I love my slow, easy mornings. So, no.
Here's one from Randy. She says, for a newbie, what trail length would you recommend for a first through trail?
Well, I can only speak for the Appalachian Trail, and if you're new, first off, you can do this. You can do this. I really have no doubt that I would have got to Maine if it wasn't for the personal issues that pulled me off, and that's all okay. And I had never backpacked before. My first overnight pitching my tent, carrying with me, camping in the woods, backpacking was Amicalola Falls on the approach trail. So newbies can do it. But start slow. If you put your heavy pack on and you try to get out the gate at 8, 10, 12 miles a day, you will be injured. I can almost guarantee it, and your hike is over. Look at it like is it a marathon, not a sprint? Is that the expression? I would say, honestly, if you're brand new with a heavy pack, try to do like 5, 6, 7 miles for the first week. Depending on if you're on the Appalachian Trail, those pretty good mountains per day. 5, 6, 7 miles for a week or two, then 7, 8, 9, 10 miles. Then 10, 11, 12. Make sure your IT band doesn't start to bother you. Make sure that you don't get a stress fracture. These are things that happened to me, because I was trying to push it and keep up with people. That is the biggest lesson I learned to do my hike, and starting slow. So if anyone tells you got to start out at 10, 12 miles a day, bull cookies. Start slow, because your arches of your feet, your knees, your body is not accustomed to carrying 30 pounds or whatever your weight is for 10 hours a day. You have to ease into it. So start slow. I promise you'll thank me later.
Chief Coco hikes.
Chef Coco.
Chef
Coco,
hikes.
weigh in with some healthy, Chef.
What is your favorite piece of gear?
My favorite piece of gear? Oh, that's a good question. I think my quilt. I have the Enlightened equipment. I have a 10 degree, and I carried it through the summer. And then next to that, my puffy. I must really like down. And that's the Ghost Whisperer, the hooded one. But I think my quilt, it really kept me toasty, and it's so light, and I sleep with it at home. I love it.
Okay, and Brian Ferguson, he says, if you watch the 30-second challenge on YouTube for the class of 2020 Appalachian Trail 2
What is it?
I gotta look at
30-second challenge? What is it?
I don't know.
Challenge?
I gotta check it out. 30-second
challenge.
challenge. None of us have watched it.
No.
We all gotta watch it now.
Don't know what you're talking about, but we will.
Cool.
Okay.
Then the next question down. Do you have it?
I was going to jump to this
oh,
one.
okay.
I'm jumping around. Go ahead.
Mountain Wanderer. Approximately how long did it take?
I asked that one already.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I did that one.
Renee
Right.
Faith on section hikes.
Yep.
Okay.
She says she has a hard time sleeping at night. She rests well and she can get up and hike, but she doesn't sleep soundly. Does that improve the longer you're on the trail?
It didn't improve for me. But I have chronic insomnia. Like right now, I'm going on 2 hours sleep. So I stayed with Carol last night. I went to bed about midnight, fell right to sleep, woke up at 2, and I've been awake since 2 o'clock. I heard you get up to leave to go to church this morning.
Aww.
So I'm on 2 hours sleep, and I'm just so accustomed to it. For me, it didn't improve. I'm sorry to say. So if anyone out there without taking sleeping meds, if you have any suggestions, but no.
Pink Ribbon Walking Woman says, if you only had a week or so, what section would you aim for?
Right now, if I right now could leave now and go for a week, I would probably do the area within a week of where I stepped off this year, because it was so hard for me, and it's not a real hard part of the trail, but it beat me. It was 98 degrees, 100% humidity, and I left the trail feeling beat up. And I would probably go back and just do that last week's worth, just so that I have a better memory of that. We did a little section all together, and with Lynn from the Wander Women, we did it southbound. So, and that helped, and it was actually an easy day. I was like, what was so hard? But I'd like to do it northbound like I did, and just prove to myself it was my mental state, and it was the burden of life that kept me off, that kicked me off the trail, and not the trail itself. So I would just like a better memory of that last week that I had on trail.
All right. Benjamin says,
Hi,
thoughts on
Benjamin.
keeping your tent dry during a lot of rain.
You don't. You're wet, and it sucks. It just you can't. I mean, if the rain lets up. So if my tent's wet and I break down my tent, I would put it in a plastic bag that I would poke holes in the bottom and just hang it off my pack, or put it in the mesh part of the back of my pack so it would drip dry a little bit. But then you're setting up a wet tent, unless the sun miraculously came out and you can set it up or hang it up and let it dry. You're setting up a wet tent, and you're wetter the second night. And then on the third night, you're wet. And on the fourth night, you're really cranky and wet. And by the fifth night, you're ready to go home. But you don't, because you're a thru hiker, and hikers hike. And you embrace the suck. There's no being dry on the Appalachian Trail. I think it rains 75% of the time. It's my least favorite part. I don't like it.
All right, you just talked me out of
It's awesome. Pretend you're a duck.
There you go.
Quack.
All right. Lisa says that she and some friends are going to do their first section hike, and they're thinking about Grayson Highlands. Would it be okay
Yes.
for newbies?
Rocks. I was shocked. Grayson Highlands is rocks, where all the ponies are. I didn't expect that, and I watched other YouTube videos before, but I just don't recall seeing or being prepared, and I was shocked how many rocks there are. It's not just hiking, it's not flat. So if you don't mind, climbing up a bit, it's not ridiculous, but if you don't mind the big rocks, they're not the little ankle rolling ones, they're the big rocks. It's beautiful. The ponies are awesome. They'll nibble at you, and and if you're not going to be carrying a heavy pack, I mean, yeah, it's good for newbies because it's not super long and you can get off trail. Yeah, there's a lot of rocks though, so just be prepared for that, but have fun and let me know and send me pictures and have fun.
Andrew wants to know, why don't you start your next hike where you left off?
Because I'm an all or nothing kind of girl, and I want to do the whole thing in 1 year. I'm going to draw the limit at try, 3 tries. If next time I try, I don't finish, I will finish. But if I don't, let's just say I land in New Jersey and go home, then I would start from New Jersey, get to Maine, and call it a day. And at least have done the whole trail. But part of the lure to me is doing a through hike. The challenge of doing the whole thing in one season. That's half of the joy for me. I don't mind repeating the miles, that first bazillion miles, for the third time, because it's beautiful and it's exciting and challenging and frustrating and all of those things. And some people have, not criticized, but questioned me on my sanity. Why do you want to hike those miles all over again? Why do you go to the same lake house every summer on vacation? Why do you go to the same coffee shop? Why do you go to the same place over and over? Because it's awesome. And I find it awesome, and I want to do the whole thing, but not 4 times. The next time I'm going to do the whole thing.
Prune says,
Prune.
if you wanted to cheat, as some say,
Oh!
which part of the trail would you skip?
I wouldn't. The part where it's going to be cold, rainy.
Yeah.
I can't plan that. I wouldn't, because I would then not have accomplished it, and I would be yellow blazing, and I wouldn't call myself a through hiker. But if you're asking me what's my least favorite section that I wish didn't exist, of what I did, so from Springer up to Bear Mountain, New York, which was mile 1400, right? So what part did I not? New Jersey, Pennsylvania rocks, because they're rocks and they hurt. I liked them up until I got my concussion. The big rocks I don't mind. I was like Peter Pan. I kind of describe myself like that. And my friend Ketchup, I don't know, he's probably not watching, but I was just jumping from rock to rock like a little rabbit having fun, and then boom, I wasn't. And I got really scared after that and hiked like a little old lady, like I had never hiked or saw a rock before. So I'm a little skittish, but we did okay. I've been out on the rocks with you guys. I finally got my courage back, and I think I'm back. I think Try's back, but I'll be honest, they were a pain in the neck. They were annoying, really annoying, but not as bad as I thought. I got it so blown out of proportion before, because other hikers tend to use, I call it hiker hyperbole, you know, the exaggeration of it. I didn't find it as challenging as I thought, but it definitely was not my favorite part. And if it didn't exist, it would be okay with me.
I've hiked 70 miles in Vermont.
Vermont?
Yeah, and I know Carol loves Vermont.
Yeah.
But if I could take out all the mud in Vermont.
Vermont.
It's
Yeah.
Vermont.
Well, you did the AT in Vermont.
I did the AT, not the.
That's southern Vermont. It's
Right.
incredibly muddy. Now,
Incredibly
northern
muddy,
Vermont is
so
muddy too, but
if-
not as bad.
Yeah, if just throwing in my thoughts, if I could take out of everything that I've done, which is very little, you know, compared to you, but I would nix out some of those sections of Vermont that were so muddy.
So we're going to do a few more questions. I just realized it's been 50 minutes, so this is long. So, and it's been so successful, I'll do another live Q&A maybe in a week or two. So save your questions. But is there maybe one or two before I move on, before we close for today?
I don't see anything.
Nothing staring at you
Bearded
right there?
Servant says hi, Miss Kim.
Hello, Bearded Servant. Are you going in the spring? Just comment yes or no. Yeah, Bearded Servant.
It's Who We Are just came on. Said,
Hello, Jason and Gina. It's Who We Are. Do you have any questions for me?
When are you coming to visit again?
Oh, I was supposed to come today. For anyone watching, scratching your head, Jason and Gina, It's Who We Are is their YouTube channel. Head over there and visit them. But we've become friends. I mean, Carol, Stan, Jason, Gina, Amy, John. I mean, it's been the most amazing adventure making all these friends.
Oh, good.
Soon, Gina.
Gina and Jay said they just posted another video.
Yay, I'll watch it after this.
Yay.
Cool. Some other questions I have here. John Jorgensen had asked me previously, what are you learning from nature? What are you laughing at? Sorry. Okay,
Keep going,
hold it.
keep going.
All right, what am I
That's
learning?
a good question.
All right, something good over there. What am I learning from nature? That there's always light after dark. That for sure. I noticed that anytime, not just nature, but anytime something bad happened, whether it was ice or the rain or the snow or the whatever, the next thing was like the flowers were blooming, or it was the most epic, beautiful day with clear views, or so forth. I learned that I can't control nature, so I stopped fighting it. If it was rain, you've heard me say rain a lot. I don't like it when it's cold rain. But when I would just relax into it as much as I could, I wouldn't say I embraced the cold rain, but when I stopped fighting it, it really was a lot better. So I can't control it, and I carry that through to life. If I can't, fighting something isn't really going to help. There's forces around me that I can't control, and nature is one of them. I learned that the best things in life really are free. That my memories are just sitting quietly, listening to the birds, or listening to the river, or sitting on a rock, looking over across at mountains yet to be climbed. And I know it sounds cliche, but I really am embracing being a human being instead of a human doing. I'm already sliding into, and I hate it and I want to stop, I'm sliding into do. I gotta get working, and I gotta do this, and I gotta do that, and there's so many things that I have to do, and I've stopped being again, and I don't want to do that. And I get out on the trail, and I'm among nature, and I just want to be a human being. What were you laughing at?
Okay, this is good.
Uh-oh, who is it?
Okay, it says
Who?
BVD.
BVD.
It may have been said before,
Okay.
but are Carol and Stan bro and sis married or just friends?
Oh.
Okay, so here we go. We are just friends.
Yep.
Okay.
How did you meet?
Through Try. Okay, and this is really kind of a funny story because Carol and I both lived on Staten Island for over 30 years.
Yeah.
Right? Carol
Yeah.
grew up here. I moved here, but I've been over 30 years, close to 40.
Yeah.
I've been here. Never, and we live around the corner
Yeah,
from each other.
Never knew each other.
Never knew each other. I never knew she hiked, right? She didn't know I hiked. We didn't know each other.
Yeah.
Okay, and we got brought together through Try.
Try, living in Nashville, Tennessee,
Right.
introduces two people from 5 blocks away from
Right.
each other.
And it was very interesting how it all came.
Yeah.
That you got off the trail where you got off. You already knew me.
Mm-hmm. And Carol
but
came to hike
Carol
with me
came
in
to hike
July,
with you.
In July.
mid-July.
Yeah.
And then you ended up, Carol offered her home to you when you
Yeah,
were.
yeah. When I got off the trail.
And
Yeah,
Carol happens to live like a mile away from me, even less than a mile.
Yeah. yeah.
So we all three of us. I mean, we just got
Yeah.
together and
We're
started
just,
hiking.
we are
and
like
hanging
siblings
out.
though, because
Yeah.
we bicker.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
no, we
I
don't
know.
really. We just love
But-
to hike and
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we have a lot of fun together.
Yeah,
And it's really, and that's what the trail does. It brings people together,
it does.
which is really cool.
It's the best.
Someone asked here if we were done with that. Are we done?
yeah,
with
go
that?
ahead.
Okay. Someone asked here, how far is it from? I think it was Delaware Water Gap.
And we
yeah,
do
to
have
Bear
to
Mountain.
finish up,
Yeah.
unless you see
Okay.
another
Bear
epic
Mountain.
question. This will be the last one, but I'll
Okay.
do another one and I'll save
Delaware
any
Water Gap. I'm
questions I
just
didn't get
looking
to.
at AWOL's guide here to get the exact miles. Here's New York, New Jersey border.
What is the question?
How far from Delaware Water Gap
Are we?
to
Bear Mountain.
No,
Oh, to
to
Bear
Bear
Mountain?
Yeah.
So I
I guess
want
trail
to get the
distance.
exact.
Okay, they'll
This
look that
You
up.
can look in
Show-
AWOL guide.
Yeah, look at AWOL, but while he looks it up, he'll
Yeah.
shout it out. I'll just start saying goodbye and thank you for tuning in. This has been, I actually was afraid nobody was going to tune in, so I was like, that will be so embarrassing. I'll be talking to myself. But I love you all. I could not have got as far as I could without you supporting me and encouraging me, and I'm not going to cry right now. I really appreciate you. There's more to come. I will try again. I'll be filming my workout sessions with this personal trainer, Kyle, and some recipes from Carol. So, and you'll see me dehydrating and bringing it next time. There's just a lot of things that I'll share with you because I will be successful. I will get to Katahdin at the next time I try. Did you figure out the mileage?
Yes.
Okay.
This is according to the 2016 AT guide.
And it will vary. So he's got his
Will vary a
2016
little bit.
guide. It will vary a few miles because they reroute the trail
Right.
here and there. So
Delaware Water Gap is mile 1293.
can you hear him say it again?
Delaware Water Gap is mile 1293. And Bear Mountain is
It's 1400.
1402.3.
Okay. So you do the math because I don't
Right.
do math.
Yeah, we're not doing the math.
All right. So I'll rewatch this tonight or tomorrow, and if I promised any links or information, I'll put it below. If you have questions that we didn't ask, you can put them down below, and I'll look at them and include them in the next time I do a live Q&A because this was fun. I will
Yes,
do it
very
again.
fun.
And I'm going to go now, but thank you all. Have a great day. Get out there and hike and live life. And yeah, bless you. Bye. All right, how do I end this thing? Now you get to watch that. All right.